Alright, in this one we're going to look at unity and repetition. So we're going to explore the principles of repetition and unity in web design. Alright, what I want you to think about while you go through this lesson is how does repetition contribute to memory? And in what ways does unity impact your definition of teamwork? Repetition. It takes a short-term memory and puts it to long-term. It's used consistently in advertising. Think about all the times you see the Nike swoosh, the McDonald's. Just think about every time you see something or hear about something, they just keep repeating it, repeating it, and repeating it. And think about the idea and the images they're always trying to convey when you see all these ads. Think about Nike, how you see it on the billboards, in the magazines, on the TV. It's just repetition, repetition, repetition. With repetition, your goal is to do that over. With repetition, your goal is to connect a word or an idea with a picture. Okay, we are very visual creatures, so if we can create a picture, it'll last longer in our memory. Textbooks often do this with images, charts, graphs, and drawings to help create a mental picture for you. When you're looking at a website and you're thinking about website, think about the repeated use of color. What colors are going to be on every page? Are they used the same way? And then also think about the layout design on all of your pages. So we aren't designing a website yet, but when you're analyzing your website, look at the web page, and then is the banner always in the same spot up at the top? Is the nav always in the same spot? Is the content always in the same spot? And think about how they use repetition throughout their site. Are all their headings in the same font, in the same size, and same color? Repetition works. And if you, with my 4-year-old, and you start singing a jingle, he can finish it. So, you know, some of those State Farm, some of those insurance commercials, you know, when you start that jingle, you guys can finish it. So it works in advertising, and it works on TV commercials, and you know, the icons like the Nike swoosh, you immediately recognize. Alright, now we're shifting gears into unity. Unity is bringing everything together. Does the website is it unified, or is it different on every page and it's not, it's very disfragmented? And remember, we're talking about the Gestalt theory again. Remember, the whole is greater than the sum of the parts, and the designer wants the whole site to have a greater impact than the individual parts. So when you look at a website, you want the whole website to leave a greater impression than, say, one page. Okay, unity, we talk about proximity, which we talked about before, but you bring ideas together by the closeness they are to each other. And this is seen on a lot of shopping websites, and like that Nike website we looked at. Repetition provides continuity between the pages of the site. Okay, so if you always know where the navigation is, it's easy to navigate the site, and you get used to looking for things in the same spot. Okay, remember, you're working on your assignment. This is the one where you're either doing a screencast, a PowerPoint, a Prezi, a paper, something that you can talk about a website with all 5 criteria that we've talked about. And you're going to analyze it, you're going to look at the repetition, and you're going to look at unity. And you're going to be able to justify each of them. So, how can the use of repetition and unity contribute to an effective communication and website? So think about that. Let's look at some examples of some websites. Alright, I just went and looked up best website 2011 design, and I came across this page. And let's look at this second one here. If we look, it's not too many pages, but you know, there's a lot of items they are using that we have talked about. You can talk about the texture back here, this wood paneling, right? We can look at the symmetry of it. It's pretty much asymmetrical. We have stuff over here balanced out by smaller stuff over here. If we look, it's not very many pages, but if we look at each page, notice it's the same font, same color scheme, and everything is in the same spot. Let's look at this website here. Alright, so this is this group, they made this website. Let's look a little deeper into it. Alright, so we have basic 3 columns, right, here, but notice it's separated. And let's just look through the web pages. What you find interesting is that this is all one web page, but they divided it into different sections, and then they link the navigation to each section. So if we look down, we can see how they grouped things together. And notice this navigation always stays in the same spot. And they are pretty consistent with their color scheme. Let's look at this sausage shop. Alright, again, they use the wood background for texture. If we scroll down, we can kind of look at the balance of it. It looks like they're starting with the 3 columns. They have a column over here, a column in the middle, and a column on this side. And let's just see what their pages look like within the site. So they have like a chalkboard over here. Alright, we notice the navigation stays in the same background. Nice big graphic up here. And we scroll down and we see this heading right here, big red bold font. And that's it for that page. So let's look at their specialties. Again, navigation stays on the same type of header. Now this time they have a little description of their items here. So you can see the rooftop. Alright, so it's pretty consistent layout through the whole website. Look at their catering. And notice how they're grouping information. They group their contact information always here on the right. The main content's in the middle of the page. They separate it with these lines. Okay, so that just gives you kind of an overall view of repetition, how everything stays similar on each page. The headings are the same, the navigation stays in the same spot, the background's the same. Alright, so you can see a good example of repetition. Alright, so let's look at this person's website. So this looks like it's a little bit about this guy. Alright, so let's go look at this one. So it just gives a little information about himself. Okay, let's go to next. So he has a graphic at the top, and he's separated, he has this asymmetrical look, but notice the space where he's separating these graphics, and he has the text on the left. And these are always in the same spot. The color changes, but this main part stays the same. Again, he has these pictures here on the right and the text on the left. So you can see the repetition and how the site's unified throughout the whole site. And that does it for this unit. You will be creating a website on your own, and we'll get more into that, and I'll give you more information on that here shortly.